Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on a Friday, which means it's time for Biz Talk.
I know I say that every time. I know. Can we play it again? No, I'm just get us up and going. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Glenna Hum with Fusion One Marketing. I am the president of the company, and we are going to go around and have everybody introduce themselves. And I will introduce our special guest here in just a minute.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Sarah with Fusion One Marketing. I'm the director of digital marketing.
Good morning. I'm Kelsey Munn. I'm a social media manager with Fusion One Marketing.
Great. Awesome. This morning we have a really special guest, and I'm so excited to have her on. The whole point of Biz Talk is to highlight small to medium-sized businesses that are still working, still trudging through this crazy pandemic, and we want to hear from them and everything they have to offer, but also how they're operating in this craziness. So I want to introduce Christine Joiner from Covenant Contracting. Hey, Christine, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. We're so excited to have you on this morning.
I'm excited for the invite. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And just to break the ice a little bit, let's tell us about yourself, your background, family, and kind of what led you to Covenant Contracting.
Sure. Well, I am married to Matt Joiner, who is a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual. We have known each other for about 20 years, been married for 5. We have 2 children that are 3 and under, so we are incredibly busy at home, not just in our businesses. And what got me to Covenant, it's actually a very long, hilarious story. So there's not enough time to get into it. But the shorter version, what led me actually to Covenant is I was working with my business partner who I have now. We have been a team for almost 10 years. And we were working with each other at another restoration company. And it was great. We absolutely loved it. It was very customer oriented, a very great place to work until it wasn't. And then the business started being run in ways that Joe Strampy and I did not agree with. So we decided that the best way to fix it is have a restoration company where what is important to us, morals, ethics, values, customer appreciation, all of those things that are important to us came with us to Covenant. So we started Covenant Contracting, and what I say is it's not just our name, it's a promise. So we do everything that we can to ensure our values and morals are transported through the business.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
That's a great story.
And not to get off track, okay, small world. We actually talked to your husband yesterday.
I had no idea that he was your husband.
Well, that's cool.
He was like, yeah, I know all about it. It was like, okay, but he never clued us in that.
Gonna make the connection. Wow.
I thought we had the same last name. Didn't go that far to put it together.
But that's a great story. And gosh, Kelsey, we already have some people joining us. You want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, we've got Liz Traylor with us.
Good morning, Liz.
And Gail Mason. Thank you guys for joining us.
And Johnny, see Johnny on there.
All right. Thanks for popping in, everyone. So just to expand on Covenant Contracting, why don't you tell us a little bit about, or just tell the viewers what they should know about the company and what kind of services you provide?
Sure. Well, we are a full service restoration company. So basically what that means is whether or not you have a small kitchen sink leak or you've got a house fire, we take care of all of it. So we do full dry out, tear out on what we call the mitigation side, the emergency service side. And then we also do the reconstruction as well. And that falls under water damage, fire damage, sewer damage, and mold remediation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in your business, I'm sure that you run into a lot of people that have these problems happen. It's never timely. I'm sure that when they have damage, it's not like, okay, we're going to have this happen from 8 to 5. So I know that they'll be open. So I know that you have 24/7 emergency service. What does that entail? And put people's mind at ease that no matter when these horrible things happen, you guys are there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing when it comes to any water, sewer, fire, the biggest thing is doing everything that you can to prevent further damage. So that doesn't mean you have a leak on Wednesday and a company comes out the following Monday. You need to make sure that you've got a company that's going to respond as quickly as possible to mitigate that further damage. So if you call at 11 o'clock and your basement is flooded, we're going to have people en route out to your house to take care of it. If it's 3 a.m. and your house catches fire, we'll be there to take care of you. So we understand the importance of what an emergency this is. And you need to have a company that's willing to be there, walk you through every process, ensure to you that it's going to be okay, and get it taken care of from beginning to end.
Yeah, because that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
We have had a small leak or something small happen like that before, and you can't even think straight. So having someone like you to be able to walk them through step by step would be a huge advantage for sure.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things that I try to put through our employees' heads is that while we deal with this on an every single day basis, multiple times a day, these homeowners most likely have not. So they've got to have someone that's not only going to walk in and say, this is your issue, let's get it fixed. You need someone that understands that right now you're probably freaking out inside, and they need to be able to calm you through the process, explain everything, and put you at ease that you actually will be taken care of.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is so valuable, because it's right. When those things happen, your brain just gets scrambled.
Yeah.
And you need somebody to give you that peace of mind and can walk you through every single step. So this whole COVID-19 cloud that is hanging over all of us.
Yes.
It's been difficult for everyone. We're all just kind of trudging through it. And I was curious to know how your company has adapted to the whole COVID-19 situation.
Sure.
Both internally and with your customers.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Right now, it's tough. It's tough for so many people. It's tough for the economy. Thankfully, we are not as impacted as so many people are, because like we've discussed, this is an emergency service company, and COVID's not going to stop a busted pipe. So there's, but we're running into homeowners not wanting people in their houses, even if it is an emergency. There's a lot of fear and terror going on right now. Luckily, we are an essential business. We respond to calls that are emergencies, and we have trained our technicians to make sure they have the proper protective equipment on to not only keep themselves safe, but homeowners safe as well. And then on top of that, our company is trained and knowledgeable in a lot of these EPA registered and CDC approved chemicals that are thought to be able to combat coronaviruses and other viruses and bacteria as well. So we have been able to take our knowledge and what we know, not only used in protecting your largest investment and keeping you healthy as far as water damage turning to mold and things like that, but also we're already trained on knowing how to best prevent the spread of this virus among surfaces in your house and in your business.
Wow, that's valuable.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're living in a world right now that nobody's used to, and we're all having to work around things for sure. Hey, we've got some other people shouting out, looks like. So tell me about what really caught my eye. I think it's been well over a week ago that you guys talked about, and I want to make sure I get this right, so I'm going to read my notes. As far as your disinfectant treatment, that program, right now, companies should be, I mean, I know they really want to hear a lot about that. So can you tell us a little bit more about that program?
Yes, absolutely. So there are a lot of restoration companies and cleaning companies out there doing preventative treatment services for residents and businesses, because what's so crazy is that the CDC has stated that the coronavirus can stay on some surfaces for more than 14 days. So if you've got a virus, you touch that, and then 5 days later, it could still be living and someone else touched that. That's scary stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't prevent the spread through the air. You know, I mean, if you cough on somebody and you have it, me spraying a surface is not going to take care of that airborne virus. Mm-hmm. What is so important about the process we use as far as surfaces is that we do spray those EPA approved chemicals, and we allow them to soak per the recommendations of the CDC for at least 10 minutes. That seems to be that hot number where if you've got the chemicals soaking on a surface for 10 minutes, that gives optimal kill ratio. So what makes us a little different, though, what I've seen not a lot of other companies doing, is that even after we come in and we allow it to soak for 10 minutes, we then follow up with a hand spray and a complete wipe down of those surfaces. So we make sure that not only are we doing the best that we can to kill it with the initial spray, but then we're coming back behind and respraying and wiping down all of the surfaces. While all of this is going on, speaking of airborne, however, while all of this is going on, we're running ducted HEPAs, which it's equipment that we use in sewer losses and mold losses. It's something that exchanges the air. So we get negative air cycling out as often as possible to make sure if anything is airborne, we're trying to help mitigate that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lengthy process.
No,
but we're just... Our process, the reason why we feel like it's so successful is because it's a 3-part step, and we're doing everything we can to where if it's missed here, it's gotten here. If it's missed here, it's gotten here, and so on.
Perfect.
That's wonderful.
Gosh. I mean, that's
we're going to soak all that in for a minute because
sorry, it's a lot this morning.
That's so thorough. I mean, that's so thorough. And again, it just adds to that peace of mind of giving your clients that will come in and we're going to do the complete job. So that's
and you're so knowledgeable. Again,
mm-hmm.
there are a lot of people in this business, I would imagine, that think they can just start it just right up and don't have to have all the knowledge that you guys have for sure. So that's what sets you apart. Huh?
Isn't that with any business?
Yeah.
But right now, I mean, it's very important. There are fly-by-night companies. There are companies that jump into disasters trying to fully profit and take advantage of people. And it's just very important that you watch out and make sure the people you are hiring are knowledgeable, are explaining the process and why they believe it to be successful, and showing their history. You know, that yesterday they weren't a body shop mechanic and today they're a restoration company, you know, and that's important with any business. I'm sure there's a lot of marketing companies out there that try to just start up overnight, and it's very important to be like a company with y'all, and y'all are so fantastic that you've allowed to spotlight companies right now in this time.
Yes, believe me, I get it. Yes, everyone thinks that they can build a website. So
there's experts and then there's experts.
Exactly. Well, tell us you told us a really neat story the other day about a police department that you helped out. I'm going to let you tell the story because obviously you have all the facts, and I just thought it was an awesome story.
Well, sure. And we actually haven't done it yet. We're honored that they just accepted our proposal to do this. But there are 2 police departments in Alabama where we are going to be, the first is starting next week. We are going to be going and doing a disinfectant treatment on the law enforcement vehicles at no cost to the city. Because at a time like this, it's not just important to market your business to get business, it is incredibly important to also use what you have to help other people. And that's something that's very important to my partner, Joe, and I. And so we want to help people, but we also want to give back to the community. And so that's what we're doing for these people that keep our city safe.
Oh,
That's wonderful.
love that.
It's really, truly, I mean, everybody's been affected one way or another, and fallen on some sort of hard time. So I just think it's incredible that y'all are giving back like that and helping the community. I mean, that just speaks volumes. That's really great. Christine, along with that, we had talked about this a couple of times, and I wanted you to share a little bit more about the public assistance program, providing disaster relief funding, and really how it can help businesses recover funds for any disinfectant services that they received. And I just think it's a great program. I didn't know if you could touch on that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So the public assistance program is a program delegated by FEMA. So you go on the FEMA website and they can give you all the information that I don't have. But basically, many nonprofits, government facilities, which is long-term care facilities, child care facilities, people like that, if they are doing something to prevent this spread and to keep the people within their building safe, there is this program that is allowing for reimbursement of the money that you are spending on things like the preventative services, the personal protective equipment that you are purchasing for your place, masks, things like that. And then on top of that, they're doing something. This has been an established program with FEMA for a long time, I believe. And it's for all disasters, but they are doing things a little different for this COVID epidemic. I think they're trying to streamline things a little bit more. And so this link that you guys have on your screen, if you think that you could be eligible, if you're a government facility, churches, nonprofits, things like that, go onto this website. But also there's information on there where if you are not one of the quote normal eligible companies to be able to do this normally, there is information on how to partner with different business associations that they've approved and things like that to try to get you eligibility. And it's, they're wanting to make sure that obviously you take care of your buildings and try to keep people safe. So it's important to do this regardless. But it's also very good to know that you've got potential for being reimbursed for, services that you pay to a company like mine. So absolutely, if you fit under any category, or if you just want to know if you do, go to this link on the screen.
Perfect. Hey, Kelsey, we have some shout outs. I think we have a lot of people running on the side.
It's hard to keep up.
Okay.
We've got, and I can't pronounce a lot of these people's names.
Give it a best shot. I bet
John Bredoft, Mary Beth Mason Walker, Mata. Not gonna try your last name. I'm so sorry. Mike Morgan, Rita Lee, and Kim McConnell and Will Bowman. Thank you all for joining us.
Good morning, everybody.
Christine, shoot them over.
Awesome. Okay, Christine, this is very, very important. All of this is very important and very enlightening. But when emergency or disaster strikes, I think most people think I need to call my insurance provider right away. What do you recommend? Should they be calling them first, or so that might be wasting time, or what should they do?
Yeah, it's a great question. In my professional opinion, I would always say that if you can have a restoration company there first to actually know what the damage is, what you're looking at, to me, that is the most important thing. For just a very small story, we had a customer 2 or 3 weeks ago that called their insurance company first, explained to them what they thought was the problem, and their insurance agent or representative said, "I'm sorry, we don't cover that." And it was the way she was explaining it, because she's not in this industry. She doesn't know the lingo to use for what the actual problem is. If you make something sound like it's a slow drip that may have been happening over time, they're automatically going to tell you it's denied, when that could be furthest from the truth. So it's always important to have someone out there to look at it, know the extent of the damage, know whether or not it's even worth you filing a claim, you know, and walk you through the processes with being able to talk to the insurance company, let them know what needs to go on and what the actual issue is.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Because again, when you're running around scared and you don't know what to do, that seems to be the first inclination of everyone. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest problem, like I said, is it's so important to have somebody to just help you navigate through the process that does this every day. And when you don't, and you expect to take over it, that's like self-medicating. You know, when you are sick and it's to the point where you need to go to the doctor and you try to treat it yourself, you're never going to get the outcome that you would have had otherwise. So it's very important to let somebody help you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's really important, because truly you would think your first thought would be to call your insurance carrier, that they're the experts or that they know, but really they're not experts, I would say, in mitigation and restoration services. So that makes a lot of sense, kind of where to go first. Along with that, are homeowners, do you recommend that they get a few, let me rephrase this. Are property owners, do they have to use a preferred vendor, or can they just choose whoever they want? Or do they have
question.
Yeah.
So it's in policies that you're allowed to use any service to mitigate your home. Now there are preferred vendors on the insurance for the insurance companies that work for the insurance. And then there are restoration companies that are just as knowledgeable and want to take care of the homeowner over, more so than the insurance company, have the homeowner as their customer and not the insurance company. It's very important that you find someone in the middle, that wants to work for the best interest of the homeowner, but can still work well with insurance companies and have knowledge of insurance companies. If you've got a water loss and you call the sheetrock contractor down the road to take care of it, while you are more than welcome, like you are more than allowed to do that, that's not going to be in your best interest. You're going to want to find someone that knows, again, how to navigate the process, what insurance companies want, what they don't want, what they typically don't want to pay for, even if it wants to get done, and just knowing how to talk to the people and explain to them why it does need to be done. So just an advocate, on all counts. But back to the question, absolutely not. You can use any restoration contractor that you'd like.
Well, that brings us to, since we're still talking about insurance, before anything happens to you, can you recommend any type of coverages that people should have on their insurance that might help them a little bit more? Or is there such a thing? I know you can't be prepared for everything, but do you have any recommendations?
Y'all have some really good questions. So I don't necessarily know if I would zone in on one particular coverage. What I would say is a couple of things, because y'all can tell I'm a little wordy.
You're doing great. You're doing really good.
What I would say is a couple things. So it is incredibly important that you don't have the mindset of having the cheapest insurance policy, because like anything in life, you get what you pay for. And if you're out there looking for the cheapest policy and not necessarily the best price for the best coverage, then you're looking at it completely wrong. No one plans on having a pipe bust or having sewer water flood 2 stories of their house. No one expects for an electrical fire. So because no one expects it's going to happen and they think it's never going to happen to them, that's where they try to save money. And I just think that it is so incredibly important that, first of all, you do reviews with your insurance agent. making sure that you've got everything in your policy that you need. If you've had a sump pump installed in your home and you don't have coverage for that sump pump because you didn't do the review with your insurance agent for them to know that, then that's a problem, because then you run into the point of, well, that sump pump quit working, got backed up, whatever the situation is. Now your house is flooded and insurance isn't going to pay for it because you didn't have that coverage. A lot of people don't have sewage in their policies, whether or not they had it taken out of their policy to save money, or whether or not they just didn't ask about it. We've had several times where sewage has been all throughout a homeowner's house and they did not have coverage for it.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure you're doing, your house is most likely your biggest investment of your life. So protect it. Make sure that you are spending the time and doing what you need to do to make sure you've got adequate coverage. And so not one thing specifically, because we've seen so many people not covered for one thing or another. So, just look at your policy, review your policy, talk to your agent about it, and make sure you are covered, and stop trying to get the cheapest policy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic advice.
Yeah, it makes me want to go look at my policy. Right?
I'll be getting mine out this weekend.
No, I think it took me 4.5 hours before I was finished having my policy written. So it's just do the time. Make sure you put in the time so you won't have an issue when something does happen.
Absolutely.
Gosh. So I feel like in your introduction, you really made it clear what separates you from other restoration companies. But from a customer standpoint, what do you feel like they should look for when they're choosing a restoration company, and kind of what separates you from the pack?
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the intro, it's just making sure that you don't have somebody fly by night. Make sure they know what they're doing. And then also make sure that they are explaining the process to you and letting you know why they're doing what they're doing, because that's going to make you more comfortable. There are a lot of restoration companies here in Birmingham too that are very capable of taking care of you. But unfortunately, there are a lot of companies that are going to fly by, tell you they know what they're doing, and you're going to be put in a very bad mess that then a company like mine will be having to come behind and clean up. So like I said, we do everything that we can to ensure that the process is smooth. And listen, sometimes that's out of our hands.
Yeah.
Depending on certain situations, jobs can go awry. You can have to wait on insurance companies for a long period of time. So I don't mean those kinds of things that are out of your hands, but just making sure you've got people that you can get on the phone, that you can call, that you can talk to and ask questions to, and that are willing to do so. And then, if you want, a lot of companies have reviews. A lot of companies have websites that explain their process as well. So just make sure you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And if someone there doesn't make you feel comfortable, or they're not answering your questions the way they need, then find out if there's somebody else within their company that can, and if there's nobody within that company that can make you feel comfortable, then trust your gut.
Yeah.
That's great advice. So I'm sure you see a lot of crazy things. I mean, I can't even imagine. I'm not going to ask you what your craziest thing is, because I don't want to put you on the spot. But I'm sure there are a few tips that you could give homeowners that might prevent some of the most common things you see.
Yeah, and actually probably plumbing companies would be even better to answer that question. But John Bredehoff, who signed on earlier, he's a plumber. So if he wants to comment, if he's still on, if he wants to comment, some things to look out for. But the biggest thing is just taking care of stuff and not letting it prolong from an insurance standpoint. So if you have a leak March 1st and you do nothing to take care of it until August, you're going to have a big issue with having that covered under insurance. And on top of that, you're going to have 6 more months of damage,
Mm-hmm.
to pay for. So just doing what you can. If you see a leak, try to do something about it. Call a plumber, call an HVAC technician, try to do something yourself as a homeowner. That is your obligation to try to prevent further damage. From there, don't flush baby wipes. Don't do it.
What about the other kind of?
Or have you seen this several times?
Yeah,
No, I've seen it several times. Do not flush baby wipes.
Plumbing infrastructure for the city. I think the city of New York spends $9 million a year cleaning out their sewage lines from baby wipes and flushable wipes.
Yeah.
Big problem.
And feminine products. Do not flush feminine products. I know we're in the summertime now. It is hot as heck outside, but in the wintertime, it's very important that when it starts when the temperature starts dropping and it gets below freezing, leave your faucets on your exterior walls dripping. Leave your cabinet doors on your exterior walls open. That will help with trying to prevent pipes freezing and busting. So just take care of your stuff. And when you know you've got a problem, take care of it then, not when you've got rotten wood all over your house and you need full-blown mold remediation.
Yeah. Ooh, I know. Who makes me yuck?
I know. Good morning. Are you still? I hope no one's eating as we're talking about sewer water flooding your house.
Well, we do see John on here. John said, "Flushable does not mean flushable."
It wasn't.
Flushable.
Yeah.
Kelsey, who else do you see? I know it's hard to keep up. We have so many awesome people joining us today, but who else is popping in?
Danelle Cash said, hey, and she would like to know how much it would cost to fix a problem like that.
Ooh, Danelle, that is a good question.
This morning.
I mean, unfortunately, when it comes to water damage, sewer damage, mold remediation, or fire, the majority of the instances are in multi-thousands. That's why it is so important to take care of it on the front end to where the majority of problems could be covered under your insurance policy. You know, we have seen a small crack in a shower pan turn into a $45,000 bathroom. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can so you're not having to pay that out of pocket. You know, deductibles are high enough right now. A lot of these policies are just going higher and higher and higher in deductibles. So you want to make sure that if your deductible is $1,500, then that should be all you have to pay.
Yeah.
But if you neglect the problem and you don't what you have to do to prevent further damage, you could potentially look at $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 worth of stuff that you're having to pay out of your pocket, or else you can't get it done.
Agreed.
Wow. And it looks like Gail had a question. Kelsey, I don't know if you can see that or not.
Well, first I want to say hey to Dina. Thank you for joining us, Dina.
Hey, Dina.
Gail, and this may be a question for John, but you may also know. She wants to know what brand of wipes are safe to flush.
Would that be zero?
In my opinion, zero.
Yeah. Zero.
Toilet paper. Toilet paper is the only safe thing to flush, in my opinion.
Okay.
John might want to stop talking because when people stop doing that, he doesn't get the calls. I'm just kidding.
John's like this.
But in my opinion, the only thing safe to put down your toilet is toilet paper.
Good. Yeah. John said none.
None.
Yeah.
With a period. None.
There were these memes going around during this whole COVID situation where you couldn't find any toilet paper on the shelves. So people were flushing paper towels or baby wipes or whatever. And then on the other side, it was a plumber like,
oh my goodness.
But It's just a joke. It was just a meme, but it was pretty funny because literally you cannot get toilet paper right now.
John Trouton wants to know, do you write up the scope of work or do you use a third party?
We write up the scope of work, but it depends on the situation. So on the mitigation side, it's always us. On the emergency service, restoration, going in, drying out, preventing further damage, that's always us. Now, there are different processes depending on different insurance companies. But some adjusters go out and write the repair estimate. And if that's the case, the quickest thing for us to do, because we use the same software, is use their estimate and then supplement if they missed anything. Now, if an insurance adjuster does not have to write their own estimate, then yes, we write up the full estimate, scope of work, and everything. But if they already have one, it's quicker with the process to send them just what they missed than write up another full scope that they then have to compare to theirs.
Perfect. Well, Sarah, did you have a?
Well, we were just gonna wrap up the questions, and wanted to ask you, or Glenna, you wanted to jump in, of who would be the best referral partners for your business?
So there's a lot. We're very lucky that there are just so many people that can refer us. But if you think about who's going to be your first call, if you have a water damage issue, then that's the best partner for me. Is it your insurance agent? Is it your plumber, your HVAC technician, your property management company? Whoever you think is going to be your first call, that is who then could refer a company like mine to get you taken care of. Outside of that, for the disinfection treatment that we are currently doing, great referrals to us would be schools, churches, especially these people that are able to benefit from being reimbursed. Those are great referrals. And then also we are doing this for, residential homes as well. So if you know someone that's had an outbreak, or if you know someone who knows someone that has, that's a great referral for us.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, while we're kind of finishing up here, is there anything else that you would like to cover that maybe we haven't asked you about before we go to the hot seat round? I know you're looking forward to that, but.
Actually, I thought about this question and I had an answer. But y'all have asked a lot of questions.
It's been a lot.
So I just think, like I said earlier, the biggest thing to me is, one of the biggest things is just making sure you are doing what you have to do to protect the biggest investment in your life. And that's every stage, from making sure you prevent further damage to making sure you've got an adequate insurance policy where you're not going to be left out to dry. But just also, knowing that you can call us anytime, we will be there. And like I said, we named our company Covenant, not just because of the name, because it's something that's important to us. That bond, that promise, that commitment to our homeowners, to our employees, to our referral partners. And we've got all the contact information going on the screen. If you want to take a screenshot of your phone or whatever, if you need anything or if you've got any questions, you can give us a call anytime.
Perfect.
That's
awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
I have one more question from Rita Lee that I'd like to ask you. She says, I may have missed it, but how long does it take to do the disinfection process? And can you do it at your home? Yes,
we can do it at your home. Because the EPA registered and CDC approved chemicals that we have come to be the most successful treatment. And it depends on how large the facility is, or how large the house is. But we have done very, very large businesses and have been in and out of there in a night or two. So, like I said, it just depends. I hate answering a question like that, Rita. It depends. but it really does. But with homes, it shouldn't take. With residences, it shouldn't take long at all. We just want to make sure that chemical is soaking for enough time, and then going in and doing our other steps as well.
And she's asking, and I hate to keep going backwards, but we'll finish up with this.
Sure.
Can you be in your home, or do you have to leave? And how long do you have to stay out? What?
We would recommend leaving during this time. We've got our people in there in full-blown Tyvek suits and personal protective equipment. So yes, we absolutely would recommend you leaving your home during this time. And then once we're able to see your house, see the surfaces, we should be able to give you a better idea of how long it would take.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this was great. Really informative.
Yes.
This was a lot.
You did fantastic.
Welcome to my brain.
Well, we're going to give your brain a little bit of rest and do something fun here. So, Sarah, we're going to cue the hot seat.
Yes, we're going to switch gears and do something kind of fun. And it truly is a hot seat because Christine has no idea what we're going to ask, but we're going to shoot off these questions, and you've got to give us the first top of mind answer in 60 seconds. And here we go. It's the hot seat.
All right, you ready? What's your favorite decade?
I'm so sorry.
What's your favorite decade? Okay. Would you rather listen to rock music or hip hop?
Hip hop.
Have you ever sent a text message to the wrong person?
All the time.
Do you consider yourself a hunter or a gatherer?
A hunter.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a good dancer?
Yes, but not other people do.
What is the last thing you watched on TV? I think you already answered that one today.
Yeah, but what's it called? What'd I say? Ozark.
Would you rather cook or order in?
Order in.
What's your least favorite food?
Mussels.
Ooh. Are you better in the morning or are you a night owl?
Night owl.
Drama or comedy?
Drama.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mac and cheese.
Oh, perfect.
And let me say, when I said drama, I really meant reality TV drama. That's really what I meant. Not like a true drama, but like give me some good reality TV.
Awesome.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Christine. And again, I think we've read all of the information to be able to get a hold of her. So thanks so much. And that's all we have for today.
Thank you for having me on, guys. And thank you for everybody that tuned in.
Thank you, guys.